I want to draw your attention to what I consider to be the failure, well, not the failure, but the character of modern media. You know, modern media is the child of the muckraking era in American media history, which goes back to the 1890s, Ida Tarbell's famous discourse on Standard Oil, which followed from all sorts of others. Upton Sinclair on the meatpacking industry, and there were others. But the muckraking as a news or as a media discourse method was designed to find what was going wrong in society and then blame the people that caused the problem, which is really exciting in the 1890s. It was the progressive era. It was Gilded Age. People were becoming aware after Jacob Riis's famous expose on the poor in New York City, how the other half live and die in New York City, to reveal that things had gone wrong. Even though they looked right, things were really going wrong. And muckraking is salacious, right? So a lot of the muckraking material, in fact, even Upton Sinclair's The Jungle, turns out to have been exaggerated. Ida Tarbell's, to my knowledge, was not, but it may have been also exaggerated somewhere. McClure's that was selling those articles was trying to build up a readership, and it was an exciting way to draw their attention, right, to show what's wrong. Unfortunately, muckraking has given a certain character, a DNA, to the modern media, so that now we expect media's primary function to be to find something that's wrong and blame somebody for it. So there's now what I consider a formula for a good news story nowadays. And the formula goes something like this. You have to find a problem, right? You have to find somebody to blame for that problem, and then if it goes far enough, how to stop the person from creating the problem. So we want to look at something like economics or poverty or immigration issues. We find the problem. Immigrants are suffering outside the country trying to get in. Find someone to blame, Donald Trump or George Bush or the Republicans or whoever. If you're on the other side, it's the liberals and the Democrats. And then how do we stop the person that's causing the problem? So that's the three-stage equation. The problem, the evil person that's causing the problem, which is just the muckraking model, and then how do we stop that bad person? There's something missing if you notice the causal chain I provided. The problem, person, right, who's responsible, and how to stop it, is the causality, the causes leading up to the problem. What about the complex set of circumstances leading up to the problem that you're seeing? Modern media doesn't have a space for that conversation. I'm not saying some don't. Some do talk about longer stories of causation and how things got there. But it's too complex. It's too clunky and complicated. And it's not salacious, and it doesn't sell newspapers. And people that read newspapers and read news media are not always going to learn. They're going to have their emotions ramped up. They're going there because they're already mad at George Bush, or they're mad at Obama, or they're mad at Trump. And so they want to find out better reasons to be mad, more reasons to be angry. I'm justified in why I really don't like this person. People have already arrived at the who's to blame part. They want the story to say how much we have to blame them, and then I want to hear about how to stop them. But that's not really great news reporting. If news reporting is all about finding the bad guy, then it's slanted towards the fact that there might not be, or towards the bad guy. What if there isn't a bad guy? What if things are just very complicated? For example, issues like immigration or economics, poverty, to find the one person or policy that's in place that's making all that worse is the wrong question. What about all the complex things involved in, let's say, an immigration problem? So right now, we're dealing with immigration from Middle Eastern countries. Those refugees trying to come here, say refugees, not immigration. The problem is that they're not here and they're suffering outside of here, someone's stopping them. How about all the causes that led up to the immigration problems and the refugee problems? What about the crises in the Middle East? And what about economic crises there, military crises there? How does all that play into this moment? But in the equation, there's no space for those questions to be asked. So I think the media is not helping our public discourse by sort of being wedded to this very simplistic equation, rather than allowing us to ask broader questions. And maybe muckraking should be over. Maybe that era from the 1890s to 2017, it's just time to call it a day. We've done the muckraking thing. We're mad at everybody. We're mad at politicians. We're mad at businesses. We're mad at NGOs. We're mad at foreign powers. We're mad at the UN. We're mad at everybody. The muckraking's done its job. Right? We know who to blame. But maybe media can do a better job now by simply just educating the public on the complexities, those things that have led to the problems we face, whether it be economic or immigration or moral issues or educational issues. Maybe it could just be inform the public. Whether the media trust the public, I don't know, but the point is the muckraking model, I think, has reached its low point. And maybe it's just time to be done. Let's move on to a new kind of media.